Good morning. My name is Eliza de Vries. I am an intuitive and an evolutionary astrologer slash healer slash animal communicator. I love to combine all the different metaphysical forms of knowledge to be applied in all aspects of life. So, as an artist, I also feel that my work is very metaphysical. I do a lot of flower photography and then I work with it individually, and it morphs into images that are mystical, and the lines and the edges are often blurred with the rest of the energies surrounding the flower. If you'd like to look at my website of my flowers, it is www.elizadevriesstudio.com. And I think you'll really enjoy it. It's like walking through my own little private garden. And I love doing my artistic work. I started the artistic work before my daughter passed, but after she passed, I devoted myself to it at least 6 hours a day for the last 10 years. So it's evolved enormously. I would like to acknowledge my friend Michelle Serchuk, not only for her gorgeous gifts of flower scarves and beautiful understanding of my soul and the kind of gift that would make me feel beautiful, but also for her initial support of my artwork when I was a fledgling, and really some of the images were rather of a novice nature, and yet she invested in me to help me keep going and to print out some of my work, and that made all the difference. So I really want to thank her. As with all things we do in life, we don't do them alone. We do them with the assistance or the combined energies of others, and it's good to acknowledge that. So today I'm wearing my wild scarf from Michelle. I'm also in a great spirits. I'm feeling the year ahead. And strangely enough, I always float back to the influence of Pluto. We have 3 planets in the heavens this year that are impacting us globally: Pluto, Uranus, and Saturn. And the main issue that we will deal with off and on throughout the year will be a square of Saturn in Aquarius with Uranus, not Pluto square, sorry, Uranus square Saturn. And Uranus will be in Taurus. So you can see that those are 2 very different energies. One is a fixed air, eclectic, electric energy. The other is a very solid, stable, grounded Taurian energy. So Uranus is literally, excuse me, going through Taurus and cracking open all the old structures and erroneous value systems that we had, and making us relook at how we view the world, how we look after Mother Earth. There'll be a lot of earth changes during a transit like that, as we've seen already. But squaring Uranus, it's how it's affecting all the different nationalities and how it's affecting us globally. The United States is what I'm going to focus on today, because we have a Pluto return of the United States, which only happens every 246 years. So that's it's the first time it's happened for the United States, being a relatively young country compared to Europe. We had our Constitution drawn up in 1776, and if you carry that forward 246 years, you come to 2022. So on February the 19th, 2022, at 10:22 p.m., we have our actual Pluto return. Here is the United States chart. You can see our Pluto here at 27 degrees and the Pluto in the heavens exactly at 27 degrees. This is a big transit for the United States. This is a transit that says there's going to be some kind of revolutionary change take place within the country, which we've already seen the sprouts of that coming up with the insurrection, with the divisiveness, with the polarity, with all of the under the rock experiences of how the Constitution was set up, and did we live up to the Constitution, and was it really the land of the free? And we're looking at the situation with guns, with the blacks, with the slavery. We're looking at the attitudes we have, the value systems we have. Because this is taking place in the second house of value systems, this has been the main thing that we've all been discussing over the last year. What has happened to the American values? Was there ever a complete exposure of the values of this country? Why is there so much angst and animosity and fighting beneath the surface, or hidden prejudicial belief systems or religious aberrations that have taken place in this country? People came here for freedom, but they brought with them the issues from where they departed, and each nationality that's come here has pretty well fought their way to establish their own legacy in the United States. Plus, we have been looking at how we treated the North American Indian. What is our attitude toward restitution for the North American Indian or for the blacks that were slaves here and literally built the country for no pay? So there's a lot about our values and taking advantage of others, and a sense of upheaval. Now, the next election that we have in the United States will be on November the 8th, 2022, and this is going to be a lunar eclipse, the actual day of the election. This is going to be a most powerful election. We're going to have Uranus up close to that, to the moon. It's going to be 1 degree off the moon and opposing the sun. So this is going to be a huge election, which is going to have, I'm just looking here. Here is the Uranus. Moon is going to move up to be conjunct Uranus opposite the sun. And it's going to be a lunar eclipse with the nodes in there. So this is going to be probably, in my own personal estimation, the most powerful election that we've had in the United States, because not only will that be occurring, but Pluto will be at 26 degrees 20 minutes, to only be half a minute off the Pluto of the United States. So that's going to bring forth a very powerful revolutionary feeling of doing the right thing, and people are going to be stirred up for this election like no other midterm election. It's going to be the making or breaking in many ways of the country. So this is looking back to this Pluto return, is setting up a tone in February, and then that is going to go back and forth over the Pluto of the United States over the next year from that moment. So the next year, in many ways, will have some peaceful transits, but it's also going to have some very stirring transits that are going to bring up a lot of decision making. So I just feel like we're going to get a record turnout for this 22 election. Now, the other thing I'm seeing is that Mars in the heavens will be in Gemini. So it's going to be like the actions of two parties is going to be both equally engaged. And that's going to be squaring Neptune and Jupiter. Now, what does that mean? And that's going to be in the 8th house of Scorpio, which is ruled by Pluto. So what that means is we're going to have huge fights over the election fraud, and is that, was there cheating, and there's going to be an exaggeration with Jupiter conjunct Neptune. There's going to be a huge exaggeration about what happened. So I wouldn't be surprised that the Republicans are going to really come forth with a lot of comments that this was not a fair election, it was not done properly, and that they're going to have all these people in place to back up their statements in positions of power in the different states. We're beginning to see that happen already. So this is a powerhouse election. Then you're going to have Uranus squaring Saturn at that time. So the Uranian square is going to be there too. So that's going to be breaking up value systems. And again, Aquarius representing the people of the United States, because we have our moon in Aquarius in the United States. The moon represents the people. Saturn is right on that moon. So what that means, it's not exactly conjunct, it's coming up to be conjunct, but it's not exactly. So what that means is that there's a karmic retribution for the country, for the people. And the people need to show strong value systems. And with Saturn there, I would say we will get what we deserve. So it's very important with this election to be engaged, to not sit back and let this be just not, to be a midterm election. Now, it's also going to be not really powerfully affecting Joe Biden. He is a Scorpio with 4 planets in Scorpio, but it will be affecting some of his planets, like his Mercury and his Mars. So there's going to be a lot of battling going on about his authority and his ability to maintain the authority. And there's going to be a lot of attack on him during the next year. The other thing that I wanted to say is, as much as I'm bringing out all the energetic obstacles to a fair election, I do feel it's a powerful chart. It's a chart with that Sun and Mercury and Venus in Scorpio. It's a lot, it's talking a lot about people really going deep in their contemplation of what they want to do about the country, really engaging and caring a lot. So I'm going to draw a card that would be symbolic of the Pluto return for the United States. How is this going to affect the United States? What is this Pluto return? What is the biggest, deepest meaning for this Pluto return? So I'm going to use my soul cards because they have no words on them, no names. They just bring forth an imagery, which we can all then look at and see how we react to that image. What does that image say to us? These are the soul cards. So I'm going to choose the soul card. You'll notice when I choose cards, I shuffle my deck and then I just open it. Okay, well, this card I got is a card of someone really pushing back. And and a lot of yelling and fighting and sort of saying, get out of my face. I would say both sides are going to push back strongly on the results. Both sides. That's a strong card of, get away, back off. I'm right. So just bringing that up. Now, let's see. This was actually the card for Pluto return. So it's saying this year will be a year of a lot of people pushing back. I don't feel it's completely a negative card because I think a lot of people are going to push back against the injustice that's been going on, against the lies, against the big lie. And a lot of people are going to be pushing back against, like, don't cross the line with me, back off. So that Pluto return might bring out some gumption in us. It might make us realize we've got to get involved, open our mouth and speak our mind and speak our truth. Okay, so for the election, what will the card be? Well, this is a very interesting card because this is a card of a dissolution. It's like this person has fallen back and just we're in a position where we're kind of forced to let go and to do the right thing, but there's a lot of complexity around this card. It's not a clear card of what the election result will be. Let me choose one more. It's saying people are going to put all their efforts in. It's kind of got to let go after that. So we'll have to see what that's about. Let's ask her another card and see what we get as another card. I feel a lot of people are going to vote. We could have in our country discord. There might be attempts to prevent certain people from voting. But altogether, this person looks like they managed to hold off what was coming toward them. But they are a little battle scarred. But they're looking like, I can rest now. I worked, I did my best. I got right into the fray. I involved myself. I feel a bit wounded by it all, but I can relax now. So this coming 10 months, no, 8, how long? January, February, March, June, July, August, September, October, November, 9 months, but about 8.5 months, 8 months to the election. So there's a lot that's going to go on in that 8 months. It's going to be powerful. So what should we do as souls about this next election and this year? How can we help to make this a kinder, softer, more truthful, full of integrity experience and expression? Because I do feel that the United States is going through a death and a rebirth, but I have a good, optimistic feeling about the final outcome for the country. I just feel that this next 8 months could become quite brutal, quite nasty. What can we do? So this person has got a white dove above them, a little white dove up in the corner there. So they are the bringer of peace. They're looking at both sides. There are two trees there. They're coming through the center. And I think if I remember in my last reading that one of the greatest choices that we had to make this year was about centering ourselves and not getting pulled into the nastiness, but more recognizing the good on both sides and trying to pull that out and to listen to the other side. This person's not speaking, they're listening. It looks at this moment like they're listening to one side, but then I get a feeling like they're listening to both sides. And they're coming out of a cave, so I feel that is symbolic that we won't be dealing with as much of the pandemic, that there'll be a feeling like coming out of a cocoon. And now what do I do? Now I've got to get out there and I've got to do something of value, and I've got to stay centered, and I've got to be the messenger of peace, holding a branch and the dove above it. I take that as peace. So this is a powerful year coming up for us. Very powerful year. The greatest part, commencing with that Jupiter, with that Pluto return on the 19th of February. But we also have to remember that all year we have Neptune moving in to conjunct Jupiter. And what that can be is a lot of exaggeration of what's going on, but at the highest level of expression, a Jupiter-Neptune conjunction is going to a more spiritual expression of being. And Jupiter will be conjunct Neptune at the day of the election. So people are going to feel passionate about their own spiritual beliefs and their own sacred value system. It's going to be very important to them. There's going to be a lot of talk about that. So, this is quite the year ahead. I'm going to end there. I think it's quite exciting. I think if we stay centered and realize that this year gives us an incredible opportunity as a nation and globally for spiritual advancement. Jupiter conjunct Neptune in Pisces. It's a very lovely high placement of both of those planets. So I'm going to stay focused on that throughout the year and feel the ways that I can graduate to another level of being spiritually, and using that centeredness to really listen to all sides and to not become embroiled, but to also put out good values and to be ethical and to watch my own integrity with words, with actions. If you would like a reading, you can contact me at angelicmercy.44@gmail.com. And if you would like to see my artwork, the websites are below. If you're not a subscriber and you would like this video, please subscribe, and I love to read your comments. Thank you so much, and may we all show immense mercy and deepen our understanding of all of humanity and all of all life forms. Thank you.